is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
I'm not afraid to take a stand,
See Live Off the Record with Zhivargo Laing is brought to you by City of Hope, Dunkin' Donuts, Pinder Towel, Print Masters, RF Bank and Trust, Royal Star Assurance, Southwest Plaza, and Star General Insurance Made Simple.
You feel like you make
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo Laing, your host. I'm so glad you could join us here today on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. I trust and hope that you are doing well. If you want to give us a call to the same 323-6232, that's 323-6232, or 325-4316, 325-4316, or 325-4259, that's 325-4259. You can call us from the Family Islands on 242-300-5720. That's 242-300-5720. You can text us today on 422-4796. That's 422-4796. Or you can WhatsApp me on 439-3043. That's 439-3043. We are, of course, live on Cable Bahamas, channel 969, or you can catch us on BTC Flow channel 612. That's BTC's Flow channel 612. Well, after many occasions of hearing that the Bahamas' credit rating outlook has been downgraded for the first time in 20 years, there has been an upgrade to the outlook. And of course, this is good news for the government, good news for the country, insofar as the impact it could have on our credit rating is concerned. And it is absolutely good news. So there's no conditionality attached to the fact that it's good news. I do, however, want to explain what it means, just as when we had the downgrades, the economic outlook, I explained what it meant. Okay? So I'm going to read for you the statement by Moody's because it's important, some parts of it at least. So Moody's says, this is April 7th, 2025, that's yesterday, says Moody's ratings has changed the outlook on the government of Bahamas, the Bahamas rating to positive from stable, and affirmed the long-term issuer and senior unsecured ratings at B1. Moody's has not changed your rating. Your rating remains the same. You're B1. You were B1 before, you're B1 now. So that hasn't been upgraded. What has been upgraded is their assessment of your economic prospect, meaning that when they look into your future, short, medium-term future, and they see what the possibilities are for growth in your economy, which is important to generating the revenues that pay your debts. It used to be that they said it was stable. They didn't say it was negative. They didn't say it was terrible. They said it was stable before, meaning, okay, we don't see anything changing in any direction with respect to this. It remains stable. Now they're saying it's positive, meaning they see it getting better, okay? That's the economic outlook. But insofar as how we rate you as a credit risk, we're not changing that yet. And that has remained the same for a long time, that the how we get assessed in terms of our risk for the last 20 years, that hasn't really changed, right? It's been downgraded prior to the 20 years when it was like double A, and meant to be, but now they're saying that's going to stay the same, but we see your economic prospects as better, right? They say, furthermore, the backed foreign currency senior unsecured rating was affirmed at A. This is triple A, not triple capital A, triple capital A. And this is an important statement they make about that, and that stays the same. That hasn't changed, too. Says the rating is based solely upon the unconditional and unrevocable guarantee of scheduled principal and interest payments provided by the Inter-American Development Bank. In other words, I'm giving you this AA rating only because that particular portion of your debt is guaranteed by the Inter-American Development Bank. So it's on the basis of their credit, which is AAA, that I'm giving you on that unsecured portion of your debt. That's what Moody says. So, again, this is good news. Moody's also says, and this is important, Moody says, the change in outlook to positive reflects. So they tell you why. They changed it, right? Why it's gone from stable to positive. They tell you why. They says the change in outlook to positive reflects the increased likelihood that the fiscal consolidation will strengthen the Bahamas' credit profile over time, right? The government has already implemented a substantial fiscal adjustment, and their commitment to maintain large primary surpluses thanks to revenue-enhancing reforms increases our confidence that debt will remain on a downward trend below 70% of GDP by 2028 from 76% in 2020. Plain English, the government's finances over time is likely to improve because the government has taken steps to enhance revenue. What steps are they? Well, one, the government has an aggressive revenue collection program going on. The government has instituted some increases in fees. The government has, while it dropped the VAT from 12 to 10%, it also increased VAT on a whole host of items that did not have VAT before. So that has been revenue gaining, not revenue neutral for the government, not revenue losing for the government. And now we see in April that the unprepared food VAT has gone down from 10% to 5%. But remember that in some of those items, the VAT was zero to begin with. So there could be some net losses, but not significant. So it is crediting the government for taking decisions to improve revenue, and therefore increasing the gap between the revenue payment and the interest payment on the debt, which is what we call the primary balance, so that essentially when the primary balance is increasing, it means that your ability to service debt is also improving. And so it is saying that it expects that this consolidation on the part of the government will continue toward reducing the debt to GDP, which would be a good situation, a better situation for the government's credit worthiness. Okay? So this is all good news for the country because what it means is that if you have an improving credit rating outlook, it means that your borrowing capacity in the market could increase and improve in terms of cost. And so that says that you are headed in terms of fiscal realities in the right direction, right? And so no doubt the government will be pleased and proud about this, as they ought. They are presiding. Whatever the sources of the improvements are, if somebody buys or don't buy that it's the government, they are presiding over the improvement. It so happens, though, that the government's taxing policy, has been beneficial to itself, right? So the government has had a combination of some buoyancy in the economy following the pandemic, some buoyancy in the economy. There's no question about that. There's been growth, not decline, not contraction. There's been growth. So anyone who wants to run around and say, "Oh, the government ain't growing the economy ain't growing," that's nonsense talk. It's true. The economy has been growing. To the government change, to after the government change, the economy has been recovering through growth. Okay, and so that growth has contributed some to enhance revenue, but the government has taken measures to enhance revenue, and you can see therefore that the government focuses mostly on the primary balance. Here's why: because the primary balance don't speak to expenditure other than interest expense. Now, the government will have to acknowledge that it has increased expenditure too, substantially, while it's increased revenue, right? But the government, that picture doesn't look as pretty, because in that picture, when you're looking at both revenue and expenditure, you get a GFS deficit scenario that's not as pretty as talking about the primary balance, where you're really only talking about how revenue looks relative to interest expenses, right? And so that's a prettier picture to talk about. On the full story of the economy, there's been a natural move towards lower deficits arising, relative to the pandemic. And that's less a function of anything the government per se has done, as opposed to the improved economic circumstances, because the economy has been turned up. Saving and except for the revenue measures the government has taken to increase revenue. And it is an unusual situation where you are saying, praise the Lord to the government for taxing you more. That's not normal, right? You don't normally feel it improve the government circumstances, but it's not a happy picture for taxpayers. Okay? If there's anything about that you don't understand that I didn't make clear, please let me know. I'm happy to try and clarify what I'm clarifying, how I can clarify for you. But to be sure, the point being this, that it's good news. We are trending in the right direction. The government, the Davis administration presiding over that circumstance ought to pat itself on the back, and no doubt will. And we'll see how much further we can go in that regard. Okay? This text says, Mr. Laing, I listened to Mr. Bean, and he said that the COI will give every Bahamian over $2,100,000 free light, free land, free water, free education. His giveaway budget will be $15 billion a year. That's not the country's budget. So can you help me understand why would anyone work, because few of us make $100,000 a year? So as a nurse, if I decide to work, I expect to be paid no less than $12,000 a month. So how will the country survive? Well, you've asked all the pertinent questions. I can tell you one thing. Anybody who's promising that is talking nonsense. Crap, nonsense. That's and I'm not saying Lincoln Bain promised that. This is what you are saying. So, but anyone who is promising to pay all of that, etc., is talking absolute garbage. Garbage juice, my friends call it. That's absolute garbage juice. Absolute nonsense. Don't hang any basket you have on that promise. That's absolute nonsense. Nonsense talk. We have to be much more credible than that. To be looking to get people to support us. And I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying that stuff there is garbage juice. The government's budget today, spending, is about $3+ billion. $3+ billion. It will not increase to $10 billion in the next 5 years. It will not. Whoever's the government will not. Who on planet could promise anybody expenditure exceeding that substantial? That's just absolute nonsense. Nonsense talk. Oh, but we can do it on natural resources. Still nonsense talk. It's still nonsense talk. Nonsense talk. Anyway, but that wasn't what we were talking about per se. But that was your question. So this text says, Mr. Laing, help me out. The government is improving revenue from taxes and collection, not necessarily from growth of the overall economy. I do not have the statistics. The government has not provided any. But my assessment is that revenue buoyancy is born quite a bit, and the government says this, the Prime Minister says this, of revenue collection in enhanced measures, right? And also we know that the government has enhanced revenue through taxation on some items not previously taxed and some fees not previously assessed. So yes, as far as I'm concerned, a great deal of the revenue enhancement is driven by government policy as opposed to economic growth. That's my assessment of things, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo, Laing, your host. We'll be back after this break.
Not afraid to take a stand, take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand. We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm. Let you know that you're not alone. Holla if you feel like you make it the same move.
For fast, reliable, and impactful, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clarkson Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Love the show? Want to give us support today? Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand. We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm. Just letting you know that you're not alone. Holler if you feel like you've been down the same road.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo, Laing, your host. So glad that you could join us here today on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. If you want to give us a call, the numbers are 323-6232 or 325-4316 or 325-7259. You can text us on 422-4796 or WhatsApp me on 439-3043. From the Family Islands, you can call us on 242-300-5720. Country has gotten from Moody's, one of the significant international credit rating agencies that we tend to pay attention to. It's gotten its economic outlook, not an upgrade in its credit rating ranking, but in the outlook. So the B rating remains, but the outlook has been improved, and it's saying that it's done that because the government's fiscal consolidation is reaping benefits that they believe will extend into the long term and at least into 2028 and reduce the debt to GDP ratio below 70%. We used to be at one point at below 40%, below 50%. You know, the Great Recession, the pandemic have all contributed to raising our debt to GDP ratio to almost, in fact, almost 100%. And now it's going down. Things having improved since the pandemic. And so the trend is going to continue. That's good news for the country in terms of that credit rating and what it means for the cost of borrowing in the country. We will speak to the broader economy in a little bit, but that's what it means for the country's borrowing ability and cost. We have a caller on the line.
The line.
Hi, hey, go ahead, caller. We're listening to you.
How are you doing? Well, I want to take this time out, and I'm going to congratulate the government for the good things that they have done. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. We have a text here, says, just tuning in for the week, but it is so great to see you on today. All the best. So, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right. So, anytime the government's financial circumstances are improving, that's good news for the country. Of course, when the broad economic circumstances are improving, that's good for the country as well. I think that what many Bahamians are looking for. First, let me back up. anyone who is assessing the overall health of the Bahamian economy would have to say that in a fairly reasonably healthy situation, that's broadly speaking, right? Broadly speaking. But that it does, in fact, have some symptoms requiring significant address. You'll be denying the reality to do otherwise. All right, so folks, I have some special guests, and this is very important special guest that I'm going to be entertaining now because we have to give an update on something that's very dear and near to my own heart, experience, and circumstances. And so I promised my dear Dr. Robin Roberts that I would have a conversation with these great gentlemen to speak to all the other gentlemen so we could get them to pay attention. So soon as they get settled here, I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you, and we're going to have that conversation before we continue on to talk about the economy, the economy's health. We can talk about some men's health right now. And so, good to see you, gentlemen. Please. There you go. All right. Us two. Introduce yourselves real quick for me. Just tell the people who you are.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. I am Sherlin Wellington Hall, former parliamentary commissioner. I am representing the US2 group here in my capacity as the chaplain. My colleague will introduce himself.
Go ahead, sir, please.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Fellow treatment getter. Name is Valentine Mora. Been with the US2 program for a few years and don't have any official capacity now. So basically that's it. Just here to help out as much as I could.
As you folks know, sometime in 2023, I shared with you that I had been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Right.
Then in 2024, January, I had a surgery, a radical prostatectomy to remove my prostate and the cancer that was in it. Following upon that and some surveillance, I then ended up having to do some radiation. I shared that with you also. And I finished that radiation just about 2 days before Christmas last year. And I did my last PSA I told you about, and that was trending in the right direction. But Dr. Robin Roberts, who's been my doctor through this experience, and so many other men through this experience, there's been a number of things being done with men, testing them, etc., and so forth. And some of the men have been responsive in terms of coming back to find out what the results were, etc. And then some men, they drop off the maypole.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we here to talk and try to get these men to come in and do what they have to do, Brother Hall.
Yes. Well, just to, please forgive me, I come off of the flu. I will assign this problem, but I'm okay.
Okay.
Just to educate the public, US2 was organized on the 20th of April, 2001. And some of the founding members were, everybody knows the late Clyde Bettle. Dr. Robin Roberts was there from day one. Earl Hanna, Charles Sands, Osmond Sawyer, Joseph Ford. I think all of them are deceased. Henry Morris, Jack Sturrup, and John E. Taylor, and Wendell Barry, and Eric Watkins, would you believe? So they were some of the founding members of US2 in 2001. Current officers, we are about to re-elect new officers going forward. But from the old administration, I still serve as a chaplain. And my friend Valmar here, He was the former chairman of the US2 group. So he could speak to it. He's been in the organization longer than I am. So I joined in 2018, and I'm glad. Let me just say that no one coerced me to join. I was put under a strong conviction by the Holy Spirit, who tell me, say, hey, before I get sick, because I'm going to get old, and before I get sick, they let me get involved and make a contribution.
Okay.
And here I am, in full bloom. My PSA is under 4, thank God. I'm not ashamed to say that because, and let me say to the men, don't be afraid to get tested. Because as we age, I cannot stop. But get involved, be a support group, we educate the public best we can, and you could learn more about your own personal health.
All right, and the PSA test, of course, is a blood test. So they draw some blood from you, and then they go and look for this prostate-specific antigen, which is something that gets elevated over time as you age as a man, but can be elevated as a consequence of cancer growing in that prostate. And what you don't want to do is to prolong playing crazy because you ain't want nobody stick their finger up your backside. I ain't want nobody pushing no needle in my vein. And you play crazy, and what happens is if that cancer is growing in your prostate, it can break free of the prostate, end up lodging in your lungs, lodging in your blood, and so now you're metastatic, and so forth. Now, we've had men that has happened too, not because they were trying to play crazy, but because they didn't know, they weren't aware, there wasn't as much vigilance, and so forth and so forth. But fortunately now, we are in an era in which education on prostate has been increasing. Treatment options for men has increased tremendously. And as Dr. Robin Roberts says, that no man should die in the 21st century from prostate cancer. Right? That's what he typically says because of the treatment.
You
of
don't
it.
have to.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's his point, is that you don't have to die because the treatment options are there. Improved when you get early detection, right?
Yeah, yes. And it seems, Mr. Laing, it seems that since all of the new information and new form of treatment has come about, that men have gotten an attitude like, I need to be concerned about that. And so that's one of the dangers that I think lurks under there, because we get a lot of men come out tested to the screening at the 4 polytechnic clinics. We get them to come out, but now
They don't come back.
the follow-up is the problem.
And so these are the men to whom we are speaking today. We are saying if you went to any of the clinics to get your prostate tested and you have not done your follow-up, you've not called to find out what the results are and that kind of stuff, we need you to go back to the clinic and find out what your results are, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah?
Or if they have gotten their results, but didn't come back to see, like take for instance, they have a high level PSA,
And
but they don't come back to find out.
what do you do? I got you. Okay, so we talking to men who you didn't go back for your results. Men, you went back for your results, but you didn't go back to follow up on what the results mean for you. We need you to go back.
Yeah.
Right? These are fathers. These are brothers. These are husbands. These are friends. We need you to, we want you to be not only just alive, we want you to be healthy.
That's right.
Right? And in order to do that, if there is an issue, then you have to get the issue addressed.
That's right.
And in that same vein, Brother Laing, this coming Thursday, the 10th, we want to encourage those men who may have missed their appointment to visit us this Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Cancer Center, Cancer Society. Dr. Roberts will be there, myself and Ron and the other members of the group. Come and get your examination. Those who are designated for biopsy, Dr. Robin Roberts will deal with you, and those who are designated for MRI, he will deal with you as well too.
Okay? And so, again, man, the reason why these good gentlemen are on the show today haven't been coordinated by Dr. Robin Roberts. And let me tell you something, right? This is extraordinary because you got a doctor bet, right? He's busy as you could bet. He ain't looking for no business. Who is saying, Zhivargo, I got these men who have been tested, but some of them haven't come for their results, and that concerns me. I have men who've gotten their results, but they don't, and some of those results are high, they haven't come back to figure out what that means and what they need to do. And so can you help me get the word out to get these men back in? Come on, gentlemen, let's get this done. I mean, you already got the testing done, so now you have to make the testing count. You know, I keep telling people this story. I was in my 30s when I heard a doctor give a presentation. And the doctor said, when you turn 40 now, I know they saying do it early, and I'm telling you what the doctor telling me, right? When you turn 40, you have to do your annual physical. And a part of that annual physical, you need to make sure that they check your prostate, right? And I started doing that. So I was going, they were testing, everything was under 4, 2, 1. And I said, no problem. And then I was at Cleveland Clinic 1 year, and it was at 4. And this was a female doctor, looked at me and she says, you need to get that checked out. And I was like, I mean, it wasn't that much off from 2, and so I was like, but she looked at me and the look in her eyes, and when I came home, that's when I started having conversations with Dr. Roberts, and he started saying, okay, Zhivargo, I don't really worry just only about the level, we worry about the growth rate of the level.
Right.
And so let's watch it and see what happens and so forth. And so that's what we're doing. So I never had a symptom. Never had a symptom. To this day, I have never had a symptom.
I was surprised when you made that declaration at the insurance company.
Not
on
one.
Collins Avenue.
I got diagnosed with prostate cancer. Never. I wasn't urinating more. I wasn't having any discomfort with urination. Nothing. No back pain. No anything that would tell me. They asked me, you know, is your urination strong? Yeah, sir. Is your erection strong? Yeah, sir. And no problems. And nothing. So had I not been vigilant about doing my annuals, I would have been walking around thinking I'm good.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
And while it's developing.
While it was developing.
And probably doing the fancy word metastasizing.
Exactly right. And so that's why we need to get the test, and we need to do the follow-up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So this coming Thursday, we hope to see all of you there. And let me just say as well, every September in the year we have free prostate screening at all of the public clinics. This sessions that we have now is a carryover from September 2024. And we realize some people who attended in 2023 missed 2024, now coming up for their results now in 2025.
Wow.
So we told them, well, you know, you missed the year. You should have attended last year, September. But we will encourage them, those of you who missed your time, to still come on Thursday.
This
the 10th
text,
of April.
this text says, good afternoon, how are you? Is this prostate screening here in Friends Center this Thursday? This is what they're
No,
asking.
this is here in Nassau.
It's in Nassau.
Yeah.
We are not privy to that information.
Okay, so we're going to have to find
But,
out for you what's happening in Freeport and get that information to you.
Hopefully, if Don is listening, he will call in.
Yeah.
Because he's the main man down there.
Yes.
And he does a great job down there.
So,
Exactly.
This text says, ladies, encourage your men to take a prostate exam if you notice any of the following signs. It's important that they get checked. Difficulty urinating, frequent urination, especially at night, blood in the urine or semen, pain during urination or ejaculation, or lower back and pelvic discomfort. Early detection can save lives. Don't wait. Couldn't have said it better.
Yes.
Couldn't have said it better. This text says, good afternoon, sir. I had my test done in September 27, 2024, and my results are 0.4. Is that a good thing? That's a very good thing.
Very good thing.
That's very good, sir.
You're in the safe category.
You are in very safe hands. You're excellent. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Praise God. All right. This says, okay. All right. So, gentlemen, again, why we're here, what we're trying to do is encourage you. If you went to any of the clinics over the last year, right?
Yeah.
Now over the last year, prostate test, meaning they drew your blood and took it in to check your PSA, your prostate-specific antigen, to see what level that is inside your bloodstream. And if you haven't gotten your results, we need you to come back to the clinic and get your results. If you got your results, but you didn't ask the doctor what it means and what I need to do now, we need you to come back and do that.
That's correct.
Right? Life is beautiful.
It is indeed.
Health is glorious. And once you lose both, and then you could do after that except address the problem on life. You got to address that with the Lord. On health, you got to deal with the doctors. Okay? And us, man, listen to me. My mom used to tell my mom used to tell her friends, say, you see that boy right there? If he wake up in the morning and he have an itch, he got to see the doctor. I ain't scared of no doctor, man. I believe in their expertise. I believe in the science, and I'm gonna go find out what's happening in my body. I'm gonna find out. I want to find out. I don't want no mystery pain, mystery discomfort, and I don't find out.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And so that's what we have to do, guys. And if we love our children and we love our wives, we love our families, we should do what we can to preserve our good health for them, not just for work, but for love, for interaction, and so forth. Because I've seen, let me tell you something what Dr. Roberts told me, Dr. Roberts in Zhivargo, one of the worst ways to die is prostate cancer.
Wow.
That's what he told me, and I seen it.
Yeah.
I saw it. I talked to a friend of mine who was weeks from dying. He said, Zhivargo, let me tell you something. I tell them, quit that chemo, I done. He said, I done. Whatever it takes, I done.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, he was gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
But he had lived a long life.
Long life.
Yeah.
But he spoke to me and he said, man, and another one dealing with the excruciating pain of it as I sat on his bed. He said, Zhivargo, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is, for many of us, it doesn't have to get to that.
Right.
So we got to do what we got to do. We have a call on the line. Go ahead, caller. We're listening to you.
Yeah, how you doing, Zhivargo?
Right here, my friend. What's up?
Yeah, man. Boy, if I can do it every 6 months, I will do it every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But I go every year for years. I'm 46 years old now. I go for my to start getting the physical.
Mm-hmm.
I had an uncle who died from prostate cancer. His head was hard too.
I had two. I had two.
See what happened is, back in the day, they never used to use the blood and they guys them scared with the finger and thing and all that stuff. But then when they reach the stage 4 or 5 and all that, they tell the doctor to use all the fingers now. It's too late. You understand? They still happen. A lot of guys they were scared to talk to people because then the other guys who literate would say, oh, you let this person play up and this and that and all that, but they didn't realize they seeing what's going on now.
Yeah.
But they lucky now they're using the blood now. So a lot of them now, but if they wasn't using the blood, they would have, a lot of them would have been the same set that was playing brave with the ask the doctor to use the finger. Because they see how serious it is. I watched my uncle with like a little baby. Some person couldn't move and man from I see that. I said, what? I'm looking at my test right now and mine is 0. But mine is from 0 to 40. 0 to 4. 4.0.
4.0? 4.0 or
Point.
Or 0.4?
0.4.
0.4, yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. When I had my prostate surgery, when I was done, I had 2 bags hanging out of me, right? For a couple of weeks. And that was not pleasant. But, imagine having to do that for 2 weeks. That wasn't pleasant. But imagine having to do that for years and years and years if you get to a point where, it is really, really far gone. So we got, come on, guys, man. I'm not a Bahamian man who like to, just carry on dead bad when you're talking about Jordan and LeBron and all them kind of stuff. And you're brave then. You got to be brave for this, man. So let's do the right thing. Thank you for calling. We appreciate you calling.
Let me just throw the plug, husbands, especially those over 40. Just encourage men because some men they don't like to talk about their health. The wives are very loving, and they encourage the men, the husbands, to go out and get a check, just to be on the safe side.
Sure.
Now, boyfriend and girlfriends who are not married, I think the girlfriend has a responsibility too to encourage the boyfriend.
Of course,
to
if you love a
check
person,
himself out.
if you love a person, you encourage. Listen, man, I was telling a wife about my own experience, and she was looking at her husband, and I'm not a wife. Many women I have spoken to and their husbands about this. I am shocked just to see how many of them are successful, seasoned, and never had a check, and they like it's like a mystery.
That's right. That's right.
Mystery. And I'm saying I didn't go get my prostate checked because I had prostate cancer or some symptom. I got a check because I was told I needed to have it checked.
Right.
That's right.
Right?
That's
And so many of professional men, educated men, wealthy men, accomplished men are out there and don't even know what a prostate test is.
That's right.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Find out. Go in. Find out what's going on. We got a call on the line. Go ahead, caller. We're listening to you. Hi, caller. We're listening to you.
Yes, hello. He took the test at a government clinic.
Okay.
His blood test showed that his PSI was like a 12. And they told him that is very high.
Yeah.
It is.
And but when we went, they gave us a form to take to the PMH, but they gave us a 2 months appointment. And so 1 month, over 2 months, like 1.5 months has passed, and we scheduled to go back on the 30th of this month.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I was wondering if Dr. Roberts' clinic that he's having on Thursday is for private persons, or if somebody like my husband could come and even just for information.
Let me ask you a question. The slip that he got when you took to PMH, he got that from Dr. Roberts from our clinic?
No, I got that from Elizabeth Estate, the doctor at Elizabeth Estate.
But you said he attended one of our clinics in September.
No, I was asking.
No, he just went to the government clinic and then he got the test done and the results was 12. So
But
then they referred him to PMH. So now she's figuring out what to do.
Yes. You can still come. We will not exempt you today. You can still come on Thursday. Dr. Roberts will see him and consult with him thereafter.
It might be good for you to visit that clinic anyway, because that's kind of like
follow up.
Yeah, it's like a follow up, but for him,
yeah,
it will be something that he could discuss with Dr.
exactly.
Roberts and be ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let him bring his result when he visits.
Okay, and so where's the location now?
At the Cancer Society, Port Terrace.
Okay, that's Thursday, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yes, ma'am.
Okay, you be here?
And you can come along too if you wish.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. That's the kind of response we want, man.
Thanks for showing that interest.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do what we have to do.
And let me just be more facetious and say that some men who are struggling with what we call erectile dysfunction, I think the ED.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have that might be some symptom that something might be going wrong with your prostate.
Absolutely.
So don't be too proud. Come out, and sickness gonna engulf all of us sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So come out and visit our clinic. Dr. Roberts sits there. They're free of charge.
Me there you all something. I'm 57 years old, and I am a man, right? And I can tell you, following upon your prostate treatment, like me, I have to contend with erectile dysfunction for whatever period of time it will take for that to be resolved. Right. It may never be resolved, and I can tell you, don't make me no never mind. I err on the side of life, not sex. I err on the side of life. I enjoy that like anybody else, but we have to put our priorities in order. You know, one of the things that happened when Dr. Roberts shared my result with me, I had a conversation with my three sons. One of them is much younger, but my three sons, to say to them, because you are men, males, you may have to experience this. So I want you to understand what I am
you're
now
faced with.
going through.
Yeah.
Right? And so we, this all this ego tripping, crying and crap and stuff like that. That's not life. That's losing.
Because it's like Earl, he'll probably kill me. His father had prostate cancer and died from it. And he was only 45.
Yeah, young man.
Yeah.
The other day just passed away in Freeport. I'm sure he was in 50.
And because of Earl doing the treatment, following his father's footsteps, man, you see now, you never believe that he's been through that.
Yeah.
Okay? And
So the clinic again is this Thursday.
This Thursday,
The Cancer Society
6 o'clock,
on.
Third Terrace in Centerville.
Okay, people, come on, guys. Let's get it together. Let's do it. I really appreciate you guys coming in, gentlemen. Thank
and
you so very much.
I would just like to say something. if
Sure.
I have
Go right ahead.
A minute.
Okay.
They have to get away from the barroom talk about what is the natural cures for cancer.
Got you.
You see?
I got you.
Because in the bars, they talking all kind of fool, but all you need is gin and cranberry.
I'm with you.
You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Let's get away from that nonsense.
that's right.
All right. When we come back, we continue our conversation. We'll be back after the news break. Take care.
Benazir Lampkin. Besides carrying all the roofing material needed to cover East End, Enterprises also has all the equipment needed to put it together and to protect your workers. At Enterprises, we got hand tools, power and manual, including hacksaws, hammers, mauls, wrecking bars, well, hopefully they won't need them yet, drill bits, tapes, plumb bobs, levels, and more. We got cement, concrete bond and fiber, lime, sand, and P-rock. We got dust masks, safety glasses, gloves, hard hats, and high visibility vests. Lampkin, what we got here at Enterprises is a one-stop shop for builders.
Babe, you mashed the car?
I ain't mashed the car. The lady who run into me mashed the car.
I hope she had insurance.
If she had insurance, she hop out, pull out her phone, pull up the Royal Star Assurance app, and bang! She was on a video call with a RSA rep, sending pictures of her damage, my damage, filing a claim on the spot.
For real? Our insurance have that kind of app?
You gotta go to RSA for that.
Download the RSA app today or visit rsabahamas.com to submit your claim online. Live chat available weekdays 9 to 5.
This April, Duncan is spreading awareness and support for autism awareness. Did you know that autism affects 1 in 54 children? It is so important to show our support, and you can show your support by grabbing a signature blue donut from any Duncan location during April. Join us in raising awareness and support for REACH and the Seahorse Institute. Duncan, fueling communities one blue donut at a time. The Bahamas runs on Duncan.
Winning on the court, just like investing, is about consistency and having the right partner. With RF's Advantage Plus brokerage account, you get exclusive access to high return securities, some yielding up to 7%, plus expert investment guidance. No need to chase every opportunity. We deliver priority trading, exclusive investments, and the lowest commissions, so you can focus on what matters most. Sign up for an RF Advantage Plus brokerage account today at rfgroup.com. RF Bank and Trust.
Join Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, Everybody, come take my hand, we'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm, just letting you know that you're not alone. Holla if you feel like you make down the same road.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo, Laing, your host. I'm so glad that you could join us here today on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. So glad you could join us. If you want to give us a call, you can call us on 323-6232 or 325-4316 or 325-4259. You can text us on 242-300. Sorry, you can call us from the Family Islands on 242-300. 5720. You can text us on 422-4796, or you can WhatsApp me on 439-3043. This text says, Mr. Laing, me and you are 3 days apart in birth. I am not scared of doctors. I did my annual march, just passed, and didn't have to go in for follow-up. The doctor called me with results and said everything is normal, no need to come in. See you next year, and that was good news. Absolutely. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This text is, in addition to a prostate exam, the following health tests are just as important and should be done regularly, especially as they age. Blood pressure check. I check my blood pressure every day, pretty much. To monitor heart health, prevent stroke or heart disease. Cholesterol test. High cholesterol can lead to heart disease. Blood sugar test. Mental health screening. Depression, anxiety are real and should not be ignored. I agree with you 100%. Says, now the conversation is what I like to hear. It doesn't, I don't check up. I don't get my checkup every year. Well, I encourage you to do so, man. Go get your checkup. Get your checkup. Go get your checkup. This text says, I was told by a doctor that an enlarged prostate can also elevate your PSA score. Absolutely. That's what we said. We said that actually. So as men age, it isn't abnormal for their PSA level to rise or for their prostate to enlarge, and an enlarged prostate leading to PSA rise. So that's a fact. But again, though, you don't know. So you don't know if the rise is because of the enlargement or because of cancer or because of prostatitis or something else. So what you have to do is find out definitively what is happening. So you can't sit home and say, well, it could be high because my prostate is enlarged. Also, an enlarged prostate is not a good thing either, you know. Because an enlarged prostate means that that prostate is going to start squeezing your urethra. It's going to interfere with your urine flow. It can cause prostatitis or you know, infections of your urethra. None of that is good. So, you know, still go do what you're supposed to do, right? To make sure you know exactly what's going on and can treat it accordingly. That's all we're saying, right? We can't be saying this for our health. We're saying it for your health. Because I have to check my health, you have to check your health, and we have to do what we have to do to try to be as healthy as we can. And, you know, I can tell you one thing. You know, hearing the words, you have cancer, ain't pleasant. Oh, you know, ain't pleasant, man. But when you hear it, you got to deal with it. But it's better you have heard that because you did early screening than not. We have a call on the line. Go ahead. Caller, we're listening to you.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Laing.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, you know, I appreciate, you know, I see at our age, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you know, this one of the, I wish I had a chance to talk to Dr. Robbie, but, you know, me and you can share these experiences, but, you know, like, just to show, like, you encourage me, even though I'm a couple of years older than you and the rest, right? Because I had a friend who, you know, I was running the steps the other day, right? And I knew his brother, so he disclosed to me that he had the key. Something showed up where he was be able to say he had the cancer, right? And he's running the steps normal with me, and I looking at him, he's like in his early 50s, maybe 51 or so, right? And like I was so impressed because he went through I think he got a prostatectomy also. But I don't know if he did the chemo, but you know the way he was moving, it looked so normal. So sometimes it's good to converse with people like y'all and other people. So then in case you do, I was testing for like this PSA for like I was like 47 or so.
Right.
About the BPH, which is, you know, I had the surgery to correct it, but you know, like you said, it is uncomfortable. You can't live like that. And you know, we listened to Dr. Pinto, but I wanted to share some information with a young man who texted us talking about the PSA. And so what I learned from Robbie and all the rest of them and Pinto them is that the fact that the PSA test has an advantage. So even though BPH and some other conditions that I can't remember right now might elevate the PSA test, but what happens is you have an advantage when you do it every year because they can see the disparity, and then they will voice whether to get a biopsy. Which I don't want any more biopsy. I want the MRI because the biopsy is kind of, you know, it's messy. I had it before. Really and truly, I don't know. You saw the needle, right?
But
I don't know because I don't know if you was a soldier. I know you saw the needle, right?
bro, if I saw the needle,
Yes, sir.
boy, like to listen to me. First of all, I had the what you call it?
Yeah.
Once when I was under full anesthesia, and once when I was not.
Well, but Mr. Lang, they gave me my one without anesthesia. That's what I'm trying to tell
That's
you.
what I'm telling you. So I had both. And I can tell you one thing, if I ever had to do that again,
I think certain years they don't even do it. They just put some little numb thing there.
bro, I don't care
what
I don't care what age I am. The next time, if I ever had to do that again, they put me to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I rather the MRI, but it was pretty painful. But
But you see, but you can't just do no. But you can't just do an MRI. Hold on. Because so we want to make sure people are educated. You can't just do an MRI because the only definitive way to know you have a cancer is through a biopsy. That's the only definitive way.
Inside there.
Huh?
Yeah, like but I was in so much pain. Like you waiting on people. That's before he moved to where he is now. And so I was in so much discomfort. I couldn't even sit down. So I said, well, then I must got to pray because I get on my knees, right? So everybody looking at me, acting so. And so I mean, it was ridiculous. And then when I came out of the office, all of a sudden I was just normal and smiling. So they tried to figure out what's going on. But that's one of my heroes right there. Bless up.
Yeah, man. Okay, brother. Thank you very much. Okay, now let me get at something here. See. Okay. We then finished with the prostate now. See, I know how politics go. So Moody's give you a bad rating, and the Ministry of Finance, the Minister of Finance, will come out and explain it. They'll say, well, we hear them, blah, 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 blah. They give you positive news, and all of a sudden now, PLP hails success in cleaning up F&M's mess. Listen to me. I know how politics go. I expect that the government will do a full round of victory laps on this. I expect that. If the F&M were in office, they'd do the very same thing. No question about it. Ingram, Minnis, all would have done the same thing. Justice Christie would have done the same thing. Justice Mr. Davis will do the same thing. But honestly, let's be real though. Let's be real. Dr. Minnis's administration, in terms of fiscal policy, was not much different than the Davis administration. Okay? The Christie administration brought in VAT, started collecting $400-500 million a year. Was criticized by the Minnis administration. Criticized that's lazy way to raise revenue. The Minnis administration came in, took the VAT from 7.5% to 12%. Same Minnis administration that said it was a lazy way to raise money. Went and raise VAT, raise the taxes, collect even more money from taxpayers in the Bahamas, right? Improve the revenue. You could look at the numbers. The revenue improved. Same thing as under the Davis administration. They reduced VAT from 12% to 10% on many items, but increased VAT from 0% to 10% on many items. Okay? To suggest that what Moody is talking about is cleaning up the F&M's mess, the Minnis administration's mess, is absolute nonsense talk. It's nonsense talk. Because there is no question that the Minnis administration was beset about by a global phenomenon that impacted severely the fiscal financial circumstances of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. No question about it. Right? It had to. We shut the country down, closed down the economy, shuttered the revenue generating capacity of the economy significantly, and still had to support the economy and people in that process. Well, what is that going to mean? Lower revenue, higher expenditure, wider deficits, more borrowing, higher debt to GDP ratio, bam. That's just common sense. That's not somebody's mess. That's a global economic phenomenon that impacted almost every country in the world in the same way. Listen, man. I do not begrudge that the Davis administration should celebrate a Moody's upgrade in the economic outlook. I do not. They should claim responsibility for that. But this narrative about cleaning up F&M mess that ignores the realities and expects for people to ignore the realities of the pandemic, and I've heard the Prime Minister do this several times. When he came to office, the economy was in free fall. That's not true. It's not true. The economy was in significant recovery, robust recovery, right? All I'm saying is you can take credit, you can boast about your achievements and accomplishments and still give Bahamians the actual facts about the realities of things so that we can have sensible, reasonable, truthful conversations about what is happening in our world. But you know why we can't do it? Because we are terrified that any credit to anybody else diminishes any worth of ours. And any actual realistic assessment of us diminishes our worth. I'm not going to be a part of it. Not for the F&M, not for the PLP. None of them are going to get the benefit of, not if I can help it. I'm sorry, it is not about cleaning up any F&M mess, because the truth of the matter is the financial and fiscal operations of the Bahamas have been pretty much the same for time immemorial. We have hardly reformed our fiscal situation in this country because we still have a taxation system dominated by regressive taxes, and the addition of value-added tax only further increased that regressiveness. That's what we have done. Under Ingram, under Minnis, under Christie, under Davis, that's what we have done. We've been operating pretty much the same way. Fiscal and monetary policy of the Bahamas, pretty much the same way. Now, where there is a difference, for instance, Ingram doubled the revenue of the Bahamas from 1992 to 2002. You know how he did it? On revenue growth. He had no new taxes, no increases in taxes, none in all that period, 1992 to 2002, not one single one. And in 2007 to 2012, not one new tax, not increase in tax. The Davis administration, whether you want to credit them or discredit them with it, has certainly been about the business of enhancing revenue through fee and taxation policy, as did the Christie administration in the introduction of the VAT. I'm not going to fiscal activities in the Bahamas. That's the reality. This is not a question of, first of all, if the Minnis administration had a mess that gave the Bahamas its rating a B1, and you maintain a B1, where was the mess? Where was the mess? Because the only thing that has changed is stable to positive. On the economy, on the economic outlook, stable to positive. That's a good change. But your basic fundamental rating remains unchanged. Right? So what's the mess? Right? If you look at the fiscal dynamics of the country prior to the Minnis administration taking office, when Prime Minister Davis was then Deputy Prime Minister, the fiscal scenario of the country when the Minnis administration took office, just up to the time of the pandemic. They were trending in the right direction. The Minister of Finance, Peter Turnquist, was talking about achieving 1.8% GFS deficit. 1.8% GFS deficit hadn't been seen in the full 5 years of the Christie administration. What are we scared of? What are we afraid of? To be able to speak truthfully. First of all, folks, people don't even have to speak truthfully to you, you know. The numbers are all there, right there. They right there, sitting right there. And the actual truth is right there for any analyst to observe. Take the lap. Take the victory lap. But make sure your narrative cannot be refuted by the facts. Okay? The Bahamas is fiscal operations and policies ain't changed pretty much other than when the VAT was introduced in decades. I mean, there have been improvement in management, in operations, in some systems, but these days, and I'm gonna say this, these days, the government's financial data, fiscal data, is less transparent than I've ever seen it. It's less transparent. It doesn't go back as far. It doesn't tend to be as current. And it's like if for you to find out what the deficit is, you got to calculate that deficit because you ain't gonna find that in the budget communication. Not in the last one. Let's do this right. This text says. So COI says that the Bahamas government budget will move to $10 billion a year in their first year of governance, which is needed to do what Bahamians are entitled to, like free electricity, free busing, free education, free medical, business grants, etc., and continue at or grow from that level going forward. Also, beginning in year one of COI, they would be dispersing $20 billion per year directly to Bahamians. Wouldn't our carbon credit, salt, sea salt, aragonite, oil, natural gas, etc. pay for this? And God has laid his vision on him. Okay. Listen, man, I ain't arguing with nobody. Good luck, eh? Good luck. When he's giving out the $100,000, I already promised somebody to get my $100,000. This text says, hey, Vargo, it's silly season. Let the mudslinging begin. This text says, get them your absolutely rip seam under every administration. Okay, you missed a little something there, I ain't sure, but boy, I tell you. Says, thank you. So good afternoon, Mr. Laing. Had the finger test years ago. Happy for the blood test method. I'm 40 or 4. So thank you, Mr. Laing. I was hoping you explained Moody's rating today. If you listen to some supporters, the PLP made it sound like we got Christmas present. You ain't getting a Christmas present, but you got a good report. And that's good. That's good. I have a PLP supporter texted me to tell me, say you're trying to downplay. I'm downplay? How can I downplay? I said this great news for the body. But they want me to get on a bandwagon of promotion. I'm not doing that for the F&M or the PLP. Not doing that, right? I can be enthusiastic about any number of things, but I'm sorry. You can beef it up. That's not bad. And again, I fully expect that the government to be very happy about this, very celebratory about this, and why not? It is good news, because when it's bad news, you need to beat them down. What a time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break to pay our respects to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo, Laing, your host.
Take a stand, everybody, come take my hand, we'll walk this road together, through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm, letting you know that you're not alone, holla if you feel like you've been down the same road.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Boy, you know what going down tomorrow?
No, babe, what happening?
Joe bringing me knife to school. Fool with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know, John, you don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Boy, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, how many boys coming for me next?
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did it work?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info? When they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen. Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Winning on the court, just like investing, is about consistency and having the right partner. With our app's Advantage Plus brokerage account, you get exclusive access to high return securities, some yielding up to 7%, plus expert investment guidance. No need to chase every opportunity. We deliver priority trading, exclusive investments, and the lowest you can focus on what matters most. Sign up for an RF Advantage Plus brokerage account today at rfgroup.com. RF Bank and Trust. Money at work.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand. We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm. Letting you know that you're not alone. Holla if you feel like you've been down the same road.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo, Laing, your host. I'm so glad you could join us here today on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. So let me read a statement by the Office of the Prime Minister on the $183 million contract for roadworks in Grand Bahama, West Grand Bahama in particular. I'm going to read the full statement. The Office of the Prime Minister has completed a decision-making process and the timelines related to the publication of a list of contracts concluded with various vendors in accordance with the Public Procurement Act. The Prime Minister has taken note of the public discussion surrounding a particular allocation included in the published list. Contrary to the opposition's claims of improper motive, the Prime Minister is satisfied that no improper intent or malfeasance occurred. An administrative error resulted in the inclusion of a contract on a specific allocation that had, in fact, been paused by the Prime Minister prior to the publication of the list. By way of background, there was and remains an urgent need for public works in Grand Bahama. An international financial organization had settled a pre-qualification amount with a particular vendor, and the matter proceeded from there toward a conclusion. Upon this being brought to the Prime Minister's attention, he instructed that the matter be set aside for further review. Unfortunately, that instruction was not reflected, which has led to regrettable confusion. The model of the vendor in question is that of a project manager. As such, the allocated funding would not have gone to a single contractor, but rather to several contractors operating in Grand Bahama. The public is reminded that the Public Procurement Act provides for the single sourcing of contracts under certain conditions. The review of the Office of the Prime Minister is ongoing, and once it's completed, a statement outlining the revisions will be shared with the public in accordance with the Public Procurement Act. let me tell y'all something. This is baffling. This statement is absolutely baffling. It is stunning to me. It's for someone who has been in government. This statement is incredible. I mean, astoundingly incredible. What? What? Something has to have changed in the way government functions. Has to have changed. First of all, folks, when I was in office, any contract in excess of $50,000 went to the tenders board. Who's the tenders board? The cabinet. I don't care what arrangement of life, PPP, direct award, etc. you consider in this country. Any contract subscription, multiple contractors are involved. A cabinet of the Bahamas will agree that. So, what is there to be investigated? What? Producer, seriously, I'm going to take a break, please. Please.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, Everybody, come take my hand, we'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm, just letting you know that you're not alone, holler if you feel like you make it down the same road.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Babe, you mashed the car?
I ain't mashed the car. The lady run into me mashed the car.
I hope she had insurance.
If she had insurance, she hop out, pull out her phone, pull up the Royal Star Assurance app, and bang, she was on a video call with a RSA rep, sending pictures of her claim on the spot.
For real? Our insurance have that kind of app?
You gotta go to RSA for that.
Download the RSA app today or visit rsabahamas.com to submit your claim online. Live chat available weekdays 9 to 5.
Loss of family members is very isolating, and people who have experienced loss appreciate when others have shared their grief. If you can't be there in person, go to the Nassau Guardian's website online at thenassauguardian.com and visit our obituary link. The Nassau Guardian's interactive obituary link allows you to read the funeral announcement, express condolences, or place photos on the online guest book for 1 full year. Losing a loved one is painful, but that pain isn't the worst thing to happen. Friends, loved ones, colleagues, and neighbors who ignore the loss compound the pain. Should the bereaved family wish to place the obituary and photos on our obituary site, just contact the Guardian's funeral industry partners or the Nassau Guardian. Remember, there isn't one magic right thing to say to someone experiencing loss that will make the loss less painful or easier to bear. The Nassau Guardian's obituary link, available online at thenassauguardian.com.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand. We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm. Just letting you know that you're not alone. Holler if you feel like you've been down the same road.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo Laing, your host. So glad that you could join us here today on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. You know, you guys may think I am joking, but I am not. I am baffled. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. What is going on? We had $1 million moorings contract awarded. Government comes back. No, we rescinded because a witness from the Office of the Prime Minister signed a document, blah, 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 so forth and so forth. We have a $183 million contract awarded to a specific company. A specific company. A company who, according to the company's own records, was a and community center company. And after days and days of public outcry about it, the response of the government of the Bahamas is an investigation. We have to do continuing investigation because the published thing was administratively erroneously published after the Prime Minister put a pause on it. Is it possible in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to get a contract awarded without the Prime Minister and his cabinet say so on $183 million? You can get a list out for $183 million contract erroneously without the government of the Bahamas knowing that that is possible and that is happening? I'm sorry. I am sorry. We cannot do that in the Bahamas. We cannot think that we are incapable of understanding nonsense when we see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. That cannot be possible. That cannot be possible. What? We have a call on the line. Go ahead, caller. We're listening to you.
Hey, a pleasant good afternoon. Laing, how you doing, my brother?
Anton, my brother, buddy, I'm right here.
I know.
Anton, I read that on air.
I know.
Right?
I know, Chicago. I understand. You don't have to explain it to me. I understand your words.
And that's crazy. That is crazy. I'm a former Minister of State for Finance in the Bahamas, Anton.
Exactly.
You could give me that explanation? You can give me that?
Let me split the hair, right? I understand what riles you internally, what brings that spirit out in you internally. I understand that intimately, Zhivargo, because it did me too. Right. However, as you always say on your show, right? You could appreciate when someone presents a position rather than not presenting a position at all and trying to give some substance or relevance to the position that they took. And of course, people will have their position as to whether they agree or disagree with their position. But you can't say that a position wasn't presented, right? And so I take that position in this. And I say that for this one reason alone, Zhivargo. Although the middle passage getting to the end point is mucky and murky at minimum, I certainly appreciate the fact that at the end of the day, what was purported to have happened, what was presented to have already happened, is not going to happen.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%, Anton.
Like we all thought was going to
Yeah,
happen,
yeah,
because it would have been a sin of
Yeah.
the century.
But
amid some other sins that has already been committed against the country relating to awarding of substantial contracts for which this one company has benefited multiple
Antoine.
$100 million contracts, which is completely ridiculous.
Anton, I 100% agree with you that one good piece of news is this ain't going forward. But to your point about what I always say about presenting a rationale, guess what? This is not a rationale. Okay, this is not a rationale.
All right.
This. I mean, like a rationale says the reason why I did this is because. But no one can. You have to explain to me how you get to $183 million published without a cabinet knowing that the prime minister and the minister of finance has to now investigate that.
Well, he didn't say that he didn't know, right? He said that some person move ahead of their authority without the government giving their final go ahead.
Anton, listen to me, man, please.
But I understand you, Zhivargo. I'm not fighting you.
Bro, listen to me. You try, listen to me. Anton, you know politics.
I understand.
You try write a contract under a minister in any government for dollar and he trying to make sure his people straight.
Right.
It ain't gonna happen and every permanent secretary knows it.
Right.
Every permanent secretary know you gotta get a contract out of this ministry. The minister need to know.
Yes.
Okay, and so the chief financial officer of a ministry is the permanent secretary. A contract less signed by the permanent secretary.
Especially as you said, the fact that you understand, that I understand, and anyone who's learned it understand, especially those who sat in the executive like yourself, knows that any contract over a certain value must be presented to the bigger head.
$183 million? $183 million, bro?
And so, Zhivargo, what I would add though, before you let me go, what I would add to this, right? And I'm very happy for the learned cry that was put out there in the public domain, and I'm also happy that the Prime Minister Davis, did not double down.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm happy that he took the assessment, appreciated the information, and pulled back like a right-thinking Prime Minister or Minister of Finance would do, or Chairman of the Cabinet would do. What I want to urge Zhivargo to help to curb this behavior that exists not only with this one company, Zhivargo. This behavior exists with several other companies in the country on the back of taxpayer dollars against the well-being of business people in this country, against the well-being of good governance in the country. We need to stop that nonsense.
But Anton, with the greatest respect, and you know I mean this when I say this to you, with the greatest respect.
I listen to Zhivargo.
As a good prime minister would, and a good minister of finance would, match that explanation to a thinking Bahamas.
I understand your perspective, Zhivargo.
You cannot publish that.
I'm not running from that. I'm not running from what you were saying at all. I'm not running.
There are former prime ministers in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, former ministers of finance in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, former permanent secretaries, former lots of things in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You cannot publish that explanation to us.
All right. But we could settle on the fact that at least they're moving in the right direction relating to the Prime Minister's statement or the statement from the office of the Prime Minister that many businesses in particular out of Grand Bahama, will benefit
But
from this $183 million that would be spent.
No, they won't. Because, first of all, the Prime Minister, the statement says, paused it prior to the publishing of the list. Paused it. Paused? Paused what? $183 million contract for road works in West Grand Bahama? Not Grand Bahama. That statement, the statement said Grand Bahama.
Right.
The contract was awarded for West Grand Bahama.
Right.
So that the statement is not factual if the award of contract was factual.
Well, I understand the discrepancies in the specifics or the details.
Bro, you's a soldier. I know you's a commander. You're a commander.
You know I am.
I'm going to let you go in peace and serve the Lord. Go in peace and serve the Lord, bro.
God bless you,
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So, Mr. Laing, I'm glad you are outraged because that's exactly how I felt when I read the contract. Something is very much amiss or awry. And at this point, and credit it to malice rather than ignorance, this can't be a mistake, says that texter. This text says, hi, Mr. Laing, they are only backtracking now that they see the public's reaction to that flagrant disregard for the taxpayers' blood, sweat, and tears money and every blessed thing they're investing. Never to get a conclusion. They hired thousands of people and the essentials are still not getting done, says this texter. We have another call on the line. Go ahead, caller. We're listening to you.
Good day, Mr. Laing.
How you doing?
I guess I'm almost like you. What they say PPP stands for?
Well, it's the standard definition is public-private partnerships.
So, okay, all of this prevaricating, right? That starts with P. And when hideous, that starts with P. You know the two of them words mean, right? Let's just put prime in front of that.
I got you, bro.
So, then the man think all of us dumb and stupid. And what they say, it's in pause, or they find, they sense. But, I mean, to back up on this whole $183 million, Mr. Laing, the situation with them, how many miles of road they was trying to get away with paving for this amount of money again?
At a maximum 40 miles. At a maximum. At a maximum.
Man, I end with this one. Anton was saying it's murky, and most of it, or whatever you were saying, is murky, right? And what they say, what we normally say, WS in government stands for?
We talk to you later, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you calling. Next caller, we have a next caller on the line. Go ahead, caller. We're listening to you.
Mr. Laing, how you doing?
I am right here, my friend.
Alan Johnson. Just turn off my radio here. Let me ask you a question, though.
Turn the radio
Are you familiar with this company called International Development Bank?
Of course.
Okay.
Inter-American Development Bank.
Yes, the IDB.
Yeah.
How long do their process you think they would take before they approve a loan? Like a matter of days, weeks?
It depends. It depends on the nature of the loan.
Right. The loan for this $185 million. Essentially, had stated that already the company had seeked to have what is called a revolving capital facility to support Abaco Caribbean Holdings. And a subholder is the Bahamas Group of Company. And it says it was directed towards the Grand Bahama Road Improvement Project, but it says that in the West Grand Bahamas to pay 51 miles of road and 47 miles of the settlement roads. We would assume those are the interconnected roads that when you measure from north to south, you're familiar with Grand Bahama in the sense that even West End, even though...
So it's $1 million a road, a mile. $1 million a paved mile.
$2 million a mile.
No, it's 100. That's almost 2 million. Almost 2 million, yeah.
Right, which is they've done. If you look at the 193 miles. Now, this is not like how you say paving. This is rehabilitation of the outspot, where, and so for the Prime Minister to not know what the Minister of Finance is doing and simply coming to gaslight us again. And I don't care what it is. This is pure gaslighting because it simply asks us to rethink.
What'd you say? What'd you say? The Prime Minister don't know what the Minister of Finance
is doing, right.
And they're the same people?
Oh, they are.
Oh, okay.
So this is what Prime Minister. This is not the first time the seems to me like that the Minister of Finance has not told the Prime Minister what he's doing. And so I think it's time for them to reconcile with each other that they don't have to keep coming back and gaslighting us because it's always the extension. I hear Antoine's argument. It's a good thing it's not happening. But the violation of the very law that the Progressive Liberal Party brought into fact the reporting of the contracts and going with the bids and tender. And it's, like you say, and isn't the bids and tender the same?
But see, Alan, I have already passionately stated my surprise at the award of $183 million for roadworks in West Grand Bahama. So that's not even the issue for me. So the issue for me is not that. You know the issue for me is? The issue for me is this explanation.
But I was flawed. I was flawed just like you, and I think it's as if though we don't understand. There's not thinking people in the Bahamas that may have a remote understanding, even without your involvement in the process, to understand how these contracts go. We live in the age of information, and for them to simply say gaslight.
On a very practical level, let me take the most practical level, Anton. I'll see Alan.
Yeah.
What is the likelihood that an award of $10 million in the Bahamas is done and the Prime Minister don't know?
I want to know. No, let's just start at $1 million.
And the Minister of Finance don't know.
Right. It's impossible.
First of all, do you all realize that allocations in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas are done by the House Assembly?
Yes, in the budget.
Not specific contracts, specific contracts, but the allocation of capital budget by the Parliament. The Parliament then authorizes the Minister of Finance to do that spending. And so at the beginning of the budget year, the Minister of Finance signs a warrant for the full amount of the expenditure approved by Parliament so that the ministries then can spend in accordance with that. There are rules contract awarded above a certain amount. That contract must go to the tenders board.
Tender board, right.
Right, which in reality is a subcommittee or the cabinet itself. I have sat in those meetings.
Well, I can tell you, but this is like you have a contract, you have a check coming from the IDB for $22 million, and the government is going to be agreeing to write another check for $163 million. But I believe that the government is collectively responsible for the whole $185 million, and nobody knows, especially the Ministry of Finance with all of its checks and balances. It is preposterous for us to believe such a thing.
But you know something? I know. I understand why it took that long to write that statement.
Yeah, you have to think about the best gaslighting process to use.
I understand why it took that long to write that statement.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the Prime Minister should immediately call for the resignation of the Ministry of Finance. Thank you so much.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Laing, we have a procurement process for contracts, and in this case, the protocol was not followed. This is another flagrant disregard for how the public funds are spent. Bahamians should be used to this by now. You don't get used to it. Even if it happens on the F&M PLP, don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. So short answer, yes, PM Davis isn't aware just about anything, it seems like. It says, I have one question. When is the Trey Raming's last day? The statement should never have been published. I agree 100%. Should never have been published. Never. So good afternoon. You expound on what the explanation was? Sorry, we got to run. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Z Live. I'm Zhivargo Laing, your host. So glad you could join us today. God spare us life. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Do take care.
Everybody, come take my